Today I'm going to be installing the US carburetor tri-fuel conversion kit on the Generac 7550 EXL. So the first step I'm just going to put a little bit of gas in here, just make sure it's running smoothly before I start the process. And then let's get to it. So I've got all the parts sort of laid out. They're still in the bag, some of them. So one of the questions I'm going to have to call US Carburation on is, I know I'm supposed to take out these little red caps in this regulator. I don't know if I need to reinstall those when I'm running it on gas, because I don't know if it'll try to suck air through the system or not. So I'll have to ask them that question. Go ahead and unscrew it. So, just going to pour just a little bit of gas in here and spill it all over the place. Yep. Alright, I'll screw that back down for me. Thank you. Alrighty, you know how you wanted to start my truck the other day and I wouldn't let you? I'm going to let you start this. Okay. So come down here, look at this. So this is on off. When you're first starting it on, you want this to be off. This is the idler control. Let's come over here. See that? It says run stop. I need you to turn it to run. Okay. I think we can start this in this middle position. Now I need you to gently turn this. There you go. Now what you just did, you let the gasoline flow. Now, push that button. Okay, push it again. Okay, stop. I'm going to push this all the way open. Okay. So what you don't want to do is just keep stopping it. I'll tell you when to stop pushing it. So go ahead and push. Don't put your fingers behind there. There's electricity back there. Okay, hold on. I ran this thing bone dry last time. Try to... Go ahead, turn it off. So I haven't used this in a while, so what we did, we had closed the choke. We needed it open, that's why I wasn't starting right away. But it seems to be working fine. Let's turn off the fuel, and let's start on the kit conversion. Yep, we have to take this cover off, so go ahead and take the cover off. You're tightening it up. You're tightening it up.
That's fine.
Good job. You remember the trick Mark taught you. The trick Mark taught you. Okay, now take. That should come all the way out when you do that one.
Fingers in there.
It's in there.
I said I can't stick my fingers in there.
Let me show you a trick.
No.
No? Okay. Okay, put that in the bowl. Now the instructions were saying when you install the Snorkel, you don't need to use the gasket that's on the carburetor that this thing butts up against. But as you can see, well, this piece of plastic is hard and this gasket is, pliable. So I don't know how well you can see, but I'm going to have a little bit of a gap here, so I'm going to leave the gasket that's on there just to help prevent a leak. If it doesn't work right, I'll just pull that gasket off, but I think it'd be better just to have that in place. So one trip to the auto parts store, hopefully it's the only one I have to make. So the only position I can mount this Moto Snorkel is really in this position. If I do it in the other one, I'm hitting the tank and I'm going to have to cut away some of this plastic here because this is where the choke is. So the piece that they supplied me, it's about 18 inches long. It's not long enough to reach back up here where I need to mount this other regulator. So I bought a 3-foot section and I'll cut it down to the length I need. Inside the instructions it said you want to make this fuel line as short as possible. There's just no way around it. I have to have a longer one. I talked to one of my friends who he installs generators for a living, and he said I might just have to prime it just a little bit more, but he looked at it and he said I should be fine. So alright, let's move on. So the instructions say to mount this hose after you've reassembled the air filter on the carburetor, but I won't be able to have access to it. So one of the other videos I watched, the gentleman suggested put this on before you do that, and that does actually make some sense. So I was mounting the air filter cover or housing back on. I was not able to get these two screws in here to line up. So if you do this, you just loosened up these two holding this bracket. So I'll tighten everything down now, but they were trying to cross thread, so definitely loosen this up first. So some more modifications. So this washer for this bolt, it sort of pinches the gasket on the side, so I'm going to use a smaller washer there. And then where I'm going to be mounting this, it's really close to the gas tank here. So I have to actually take the gas tank out to bolt one of these bolts that they gave with me to here. So I'm going to use this instead. It's just from my extra screws that I had. It doesn't match, but it'll hold it, but it won't pass the second part of this bar, so it'll just barely touch it. And I have a little lock washer here. I don't think I'm in focus here. A little lock washer on there, so I won't have to remove this tank. It'll be a tight fit when I am bolting this one in place. But and when you do this, make sure that this isn't sticking out too far, otherwise you're going to puncture the tank. That was close. Good. So they did include this sort of like pipe dope. It's been sitting out in the garage for a while, so I don't know. It's probably fine, but I did get some gas, basically like Teflon tape. I'll use that instead for the fittings here. So here's a tip. So I was doing a really careful job putting the pipe tape on here. I'm going to be hitting the gas tank, so I'm going to have to take off this fitting and this. So I can either dismount the regulator or just take off these two fittings so I can spin it on. So I'm going to just take them off. Alrighty, moment of truth. Well, not yet really. I just need to make sure that it still works with gasoline first before I hook up the propane to it, and then I'll have to check for leaks. Idle control off. Okay. Engine set to run. Alright. That's the adjustment, I believe, for the idle. Don't see any bubbles. Alrighty, let's do the moment of truth here. Prime it up some more. I smell gas, so I think it's primed. Let's see if it works. Well, I would call that a success. It took me a little while to get this piece tuned in properly. I guess it's like an idle controller. Oh, this is a success. I was talking with one of my friends. He suggested I put on one of the hour meters on here, so I'll hook one of those up just to see how long the tank lasts. He said a 100-pound tank on his mom's was running like a 6300 watt generator, would last about 12 hours, so we'll probably pick up a couple of those tanks. Alright, thanks again for watching. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. So again, I feel like Columbo, I always come up with something after I end the video. If you ask how difficult this was to install this tri-fuel conversion kit on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably say it's a 5. I mean, it was not that difficult at all. I mean, if you're mechanically inclined. So, I mean, the only other thing, I needed a longer hose for the fuel line, because there's no way with this smaller piece that I had to install it. Just took a little time to get this adjustment set so it would run smoothly. I have just this old adjustable wrench I'm going to somehow attach to the generator. So I have a dedicated wrench just for the propane hookup, and then I'm going to get like a hook here so that I can just store the hose onto the generator itself too, just to keep it out of the way. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and again, thanks for watching.